Alright folks, we are going to make a start. Prop wise for today, if you have a yoga block, that's going to be useful. If you also have a rolled up yoga mat, rolled up towel, even a rolled up bed pillow will work in place of a roll. If you don't have a block, then you can use these interchangeably just to see how we're getting on. To begin with today, normally we start this class seated. This week I've been doing a lot more stuff to begin the class laying down, mostly to take the pressure off of the lower back, and so we can do the explorations in a slightly different way. If you have both either a pillow, rolled up mat and block, or even if you've got a bolster, you're setting up so you've got the soft thing between your shoulder blades and the harder thing underneath your head. Aiming that your chest is slightly lifted with the roll at the shoulder blades, block behind the skull, palms facing up. You can also use a bed pillow, or even if you've got like a bolster cushion, something like that, that can help you get that. If you only have one item, then for example, maybe you only have a yoga block, I would turn it sideways and take it underneath the shoulder blades, and for the first portion, simply hold on to your head and neck in as relaxed a way as possible. You're still getting the chest opening part happening. Where you are, start to deepen your breath. So not just like a slightly deeper than where you just were breath, but a very full and expansive breath. Ideally doing an inhale for roughly a count of 5 and an exhale for a count of 6. Many schools of yoga advocate a firming of the abdomen during breathwork. I like you to keep the abdominals and the chest pretty relaxed and spacious during your breath cycle. Use this deepening of your breath to increase the awareness that you are bringing into the shoulders, the neck, and the upper back. If there's any unnecessary tension that you can soften, feel for doing that. So that may be moving the head a little side to side and resettling or repositioning. Especially after a few deep breaths, you might find that your body has relaxed a bit more. Maybe the curve at the back of the neck is lengthening. If you're doing the head holding hand, or hand holding head rather, draw the skull towards the back of your mat, creating a bit of a neck traction that can feel really good. If you're in chest opener with the roll and the block, glide your shoulder blades down away from your ears and do palms facing up. In this chest opener, doing breath retention work can feel really good, where you get to pause in a state where the ribs are flaring. So you will be doing an inhale until full, holding the breath, and then exhaling. Aiming to get each part, the inhale, the hold, and the exhale, roughly the same length. If it's useful for you to ascribe a count to that, go for anything between 5 and 8 counts. So begin that now. If you're newer, add in an ujjayi whisper sound. That is done by engaging your throat muscles the same way that you would when whispering, and getting an audible component that will help you track your breathing. Ujjayi breathing is also useful for guiding your awareness inwards, which is the entire name of the game. So if you've come to this class thinking, I need to achieve physical postures by the end of the session, you've already done a posture, look at this, you're already in one, but you're not necessarily looking to master poses. There's more to it. The asana prepare the body for introspection, for focus and discipline, to enable you to sit comfortably. That sounds quite nice. So still doing that inhale, pause, and long exhale. From where you are, roll onto your left hand side. Use your arms to bring yourself up, coming up towards seated. If you normally sit elevated, that isn't going to work for this part because we're going to be using our hands in different places and they're going to be underneath you. If you need support for your back or you feel like you're curling under in the pelvis, I would recommend taking either the block or the roll at your pelvis and then have the block or the roll against the wall. That's going to get you engaging from your low back up to get that postural support, but without the curling under in the pelvis, which can be useful, or at least the support can be useful. In your sitting position, if you have been taught to pull your heels in really close, that's one way of doing this. I don't usually like that it has one knee going up and one knee going down. Instead, move the shin bones further forwards, feet closer to the knees. It looks a wee bit more square than triangular. Take your left hand, palm faces down, and turn the fingers in. Sit onto your left palm, and ideally just position the sit bones so that you are not sitting on the hand directly, so you don't have the bone pressing down. Inhale, lift the rib cage up. Exhale, lean slightly to the left and allow the left ear to soften towards your left shoulder. The right shoulder blade, do a wee bit of a drawing down action and then switch back on that deep breathing. No longer doing that inhale hold, but a full inhale and an even more thorough exhale. Maybe doing inhale for 5, exhale for 6 as a good format. As you navigate into shoulders and neck, default posturing can start to come in, and that might mean head in front of shoulders. Go ahead and lean your head and shoulders back as if they were against the wall. As you lean the head to the left, allow the left ear to be tracking straight down towards the left shoulder. It's unlikely to touch there. Stage 2. Exhale, turn your chin towards your left collarbone and very slightly let the head dip down towards the chest. Chest is still very much lifted, bringing the awareness and the focus into the back of the neck. Any discomfort with that right hand and wrist, stick the fingertips onto the floor instead of sitting on them and lean away from that arm. Don't let the arm slide. You're aiming to get a bit of a tension spot with that arm. Any feedback coming into the bicep, don't panic about that. Deep breath in. Exhale, tuck your chin straight down toward your chest and get the shoulders back above the hips. Use your left hand on your forehead. Inhale, lift your head back up. Change the cross in your legs. If you feel a bit bleary-eyed after that, don't worry. You will be much more awake, alert, and attentive as we get moving. The left hand is coming in underneath that left sit bone, going for palm facing down. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, lean to the right, or feel free to stick the fingertips to the floor and lean away from that. Right ear is relaxing towards right shoulder. Shoulder blades are gliding down. Make sure that that glide down isn't like an aggressive hammering. It is more a suggestion that they are not up. Switch on your breathing in a way that is getting your abdomen and your chest moving. And a thing that is always really useful to be attentive to when you're doing sitting positions, are you sitting in a way that allows you to breathe in a way that speaks to your abdomen? Or are you sitting in a way that complicates that and restricts that? Endeavor to be as spacious as possible. And especially if you are new to yoga practice, your breath is giving you some real guidance. If you can't breathe in the pose, it's probably too far. If you can't breathe in the pose, it isn't sustainable either, because you're either going to pass out or worse. Stage 2, exhale, turn your chin towards your right collarbone and then let the head angle down, moving the stretch into the muscles more to the side of your spine. Some of these muscles that work very hard. As you change the neck position, notice if deep breathing has changed. Bring back a very thorough, very resolute breath. Tuck your chin straight down. Use the right hand on the forehead. Inhale, lift your head up. Bring the soles of the feet into Baddha Konasana. If you're tighter in the hips, you can move the feet further forward so you've got more space, This pose can also work sitting elevated, especially if there's any torque or twist happening in the knees. Relax the arms down by your sides. During shoulder shrugs, the aim is to switch on through trapezius and rhomboids, so the muscles that are responsible for your shoulder blades coming up and down, but also for squeezing in towards each other, so important muscle groups. When you do this, there is a tendency towards the head trying to poke forwards, perhaps into a sort of tension-related posture. I want you to lean your head back and do a chin tuck, so the back of the neck feels really long, as if somebody was physically pulling you up by the back of your skull during the entire thing. Relax the arms down, take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, bring your shoulders straight up, straight back, squeeze them. Exhale, drag the shoulders down away from your ears. Inhale, spread in between your shoulders. Exhale, squeeze the middle part of your shoulders back, squeeze a lot, drag shoulders down. Inhale, spread into the back, this time take the palms so they face up. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades and elbows towards one another. Notice as your chin poked forwards, pull shoulders down. Inhale, relax the arms down. Hold your breath. Bring the shoulders straight up, straight back, squeeze them and genuinely squeeze them. Exhale, drag the shoulders down away from your ears. Inhale deeply, spread into the upper back. The shoulders can start to spread a little bit more here. Exhale, squeeze middle parts of shoulders back. Squeeze a lot, drag shoulders down. Inhale, spread into the back, palms face up. Begin to rotate the thumbs down towards the floor. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades and elbows towards each other. Drag shoulders down. Inhale, relax the arms down. Change your leg position. So that can be shifting to cross-legged, it can be staying in Baddha Konasana and moving the feet further forwards. If your head is going, oh my god, how much longer do I need to sit like this? Sit on a block. It is going to be way better for your back. We are doing a lot of stuff posturally for your shoulders and your upper back just now, all these different movements. If you are rounded in your back, all of that is going to be compromised and made much more difficult, when actually you could just sit on something, literally anything. Well, maybe not literally anything, don't sit on a cactus. Take your arms out to the side, palms face forwards. During this, you're working rotation. If you end up just moving your wrists, your aim is to feel as if your arms, your hands, your forearms, your wrists have become one solid piece like a wing, so that when you rotate, you feel the shoulder head come forwards. When you turn the palm to face up, you feel the chest start to lift up a little bit. So they're very big movements. Arms out to the side. Exhale, turn the palms down and then allow the shoulder blades to start to lift as you get that rotation. Inhale, turn the palms to face forwards, then start to turn them to face up. And you should start to feel shoulder blades are drawing down the back. Lift your skull. Exhale, rotate the other way, shoulder blades are coming up towards the ears. Inhale, rotate palms so they face up, lift chest. Exhale, rotate the arms the other way, shoulders slide up towards the ears. Inhale, turn the palms to face up. Exhale, bring the hands back through center. It is useful to take movements like this and then do contralateral movements, so something different from one side to the other, to feel what that does for shoulders, especially if you feel like your shoulders are notoriously stiff. Arms out to the side. Inhale deeply. Exhale, turn the left palm up, the right palm down, and complete that rotation. So you feel one shoulder blade is going up, one shoulder blade is coming down. Inhale, bring the arms through center. Exhale, right palm up, left palm down. Inhale, bring the arms through center. Exhale, left palm up, right palm down. Reach through your arms. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, right palm up, left palm down. Inhale through center. Relax your arms down. You should feel like some heat in the upper arms, but also some fatigue in the shoulders. That is completely to be expected. Come onto all fours. If you were using any props, just move them out of the way for now. Aim for hands under shoulders, wrist sensitive. This doesn't need to become a thing for your wrists. You're welcome to do this on fists or even down on your elbows if that feels better. If you're on wrists, aiming to have the wrist bones pretty much in line with your forearms. Allow yourself to hang down between your shoulders and let your head drop down a little bit here. Picking up the pieces, stick your butt towards the back of the mat. Your abdomen and low ribs, draw them up away from the floor a little bit. push into your arms and lift between your shoulder blades. And then complete that by looking forwards, tucking the chin, and lifting through the back of the skull. When done correctly, you should start to feel neck muscles, trapezius having to work really, really hard. Deep breath in. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades back and allow your arms to take a wee bend as you get that really strong squeeze back. I can feel my shoulder blades crunching. Inhale, push into your arms, lift between your shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades towards each other. So working these retractions and protractions before we start moving a bit more. Inhale, lift between your shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze shoulders back. Track, has your head drop down. Inhale, lift between your shoulder blades. An extra point of focus, take a hand onto your low ribs. As you do these movements in the shoulder blades, there's a tendency to kind of pop the ribs around a little bit, meaning you're probably not moving your shoulder blades as much as you think. You're just kind of moving into your mid-back. So I want you to draw the low ribs in. I know I said keep the abdomen pretty soft. You can do that and still breathe into your abdomen, for sure. Exhale, squeeze shoulders back without allowing your ribs to flare. Inhale, push into the hands, lift and dome between the shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades back. Inhale, lift and dome. Great. Bring yourself towards a kneeling position where you are. If you can't kneel because of tweaky knees or anything like that, then sit cross-legged for now. Aim is to feel for activity levels. We've done forward and back, we've done a few different rotations here. Inhale to reach your left arm up, have the palm facing forwards. Don't worry if it isn't like straight in line with your head. Exhale, wrap that left palm via the shoulder blade so the left palm faces to the right. Inhale, lift your left shoulder blade up towards your ear. Exhale, begin to draw the arm back. Watch out for those ribs trying to pop away. Take the right hand down, but turn the palm to face the back of the mat. Exhale, reach the arms back. So this is called archer prep. Normally when people do archer, they find the hands, but it becomes very passive once the fingers find each other. I find when you do this actively, it is going to become more useful. You'll begin to appreciate and learn how to move through your range. Inhale, lift up through your skull. Exhale, pull the low ribs in, reach with those arms. If they're getting tired, don't worry, they will get a break in a moment. Inhale, relax the arms down. So should feel trapezius on that left side, but also starting to feel rhomboids between the shoulder blades as you squeeze back into the right. Inhale, take right arm up, palm faces forwards. Exhale, wrap the shoulder blade towards the underarm, feeling your lats firing up. Pull the low ribs in. Inhale, bring that shoulder blade up. Exhale, begin to pull the arm back. Left palm is down alongside your waist, so mine is here, here it is. Reach back through that left palm. Inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, reach the arms back in space. If your head is moving forwards, it gives you a bit of a warped perception of this. It feels like your arm's gone far because you can't see it. Bring your head back, focus on moving your arms. Inhale, reach up and out through both arms. Well, also down and out through that left one. Exhale, move the arms back. I don't think my arm would appreciate being called a down and out. Inhale, relax your arms. That's giving us some of the physical basis that we'll be doing. So even when we're doing abdominal work, there is this reaching action between the shoulder blades. There is this wrapping action of the elbows in towards each other. And in many of the yoga poses that we're going to do today, there is that same action. So even Cobra, that pull, there is a drawing in and there is a shoulder blade depression happening in that. Come down onto your elbows for Dolphin. Elbows underneath your shoulders. To gauge the distance of the elbows, grab your upper arms. So if they're really wide, you want to be able to hold comfortably around the upper outer arms. Notice I'm not holding my elbows, I'm definitely holding upper outers. Interlace the fingers and then set the pinky edges of the hands down. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Inhale, push down into your elbows, lift between the shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze your chest muscles, tuck your toes, and then lift the knees up. Inhale, lift your shoulder blades towards your ears, pushing down into the mat. Exhale, move your chest back towards your legs by bearing down into your forearms.
You may need to work with your legs bent here. So especially if you're tight in the hamstrings, tight in the lower back, do bent legs. Inhale, lift the rib cage up away from your arms. It's the same instruction as bring the shoulder blades up towards your ears. Exhale, squeeze your elbows in towards each other, not by wriggling them on the mat, but by flexing your chest muscles, engaging around the underarms and the lats. Inhale, set your knees down, and then sit up from there. Swing your legs around. So we're coming down onto the back for abdominals. In this first abdominal, it's called elbow to knee. You'll be lifting one knee up and reaching the elbows in that direction. But I want to clarify something. When I see folks reach their elbow towards the knee, I frequently see them when they go, for example, to the right, they're resting on the bottom of that right shoulder blade. When you do that wrapped shoulder blade, the elbow and the upper arm are reaching away, and the shoulder blade is actually winging around to about here. So this is now the bottom tip of my shoulder blade here versus actually really far around the back here. So when you do this, you should feel like you're almost on the muscles between your shoulder blades rather than on the bones themselves. If you're new, that might feel like this is going to take forever, all right? It does require a little bit more strength, a little bit more savvy in the shoulders, but it is definitely achievable. And if you've been doing class with me for a while, I'm hoping it's something you can navigate. Come down onto your back, rest with the feet a relaxed distance away from you, so it just means pick them up, put them down, and that's going to be a good place. The ball of the foot is down, but there's no weight going into it, so you're not pushing to lift your pelvis. You're doing the action of curl tailbone up, that little articulation in the pelvis, without using your legs to do it. All right, so yes, you are flexing your hips, but ideally feeling from your pubic bone to your navel. Interlace your fingers behind your head, but have your head down for now. Bring the elbows in close as if you were holding a block between your elbows. P.S. That's actually quite fun to do. I say fun, I mean, I don't get out much. Inhale, reach your upper arms towards the ceiling. Get that spreading action on your back, hopefully feeling that you're no longer on your shoulder blades. You can feel the section of spine between your shoulder blades and the muscles alongside there. Exhale, curl your head and your shoulders up. Take an experimental reach from left to right. Ideally, the shoulder blade doesn't drop down to touch the floor. Instead, you're feeling your upper abdominals are engaging. And it's not a big movement. It isn't this kind of like thing that you might see in a gym when people are doing crunches and it just looks terrible. You're almost thinking the spread in the shoulder blades and very small movements, almost thinking low ribs on one side towards the opposite hip, low ribs towards opposite hip. Okay, if you're already exhausted, we have not even started this abdominal. It is going to be a rip-roaring riot. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, curl the tailbone up. Exhale, lift the left knee directly above pelvis. Reach both elbows in the direction of that leg. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, put the left foot down, uncurl tailbone. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, lift the right knee. Reach both elbows in the direction of that right leg. Off of the right shoulder blade. Pull belly down. Inhale, right foot down, uncurl tailbone, shoulders to center. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, lift left knee. Reach both elbows towards your left thigh. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, left foot down, shoulders come to center. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, lift right knee. Reach both elbows towards your right thigh. Pull belly down. Inhale, right foot down, shoulders come to center. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, lift left knee. Reach both elbows towards your left leg. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, left foot down, shoulders come to center. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Exhale, lift right knee. Reach elbows towards your right leg. Lift off of the shoulder blades. Pull belly down. Inhale, shoulders to center, head down, feet down. Roll onto your left hand side. Use your arms to bring yourself up from the ground and coming into a seated position. If you were sitting elevated, this is another great pose to either do with your back flush against the wall, so pelvis, shoulder blades, and skull, or if you're able to sit in the center, sit in the center. Either have your left leg in front of your right, or if you're looking to speak into your hips in a slightly different way, you have the option of working knee pile. Knee pile is a little bit trickier. It's one of the original yoga poses that's mentioned historically, so it's called Gomukhasana. So left knee above the right, soles of the feet pointing back. It's tough on the hips, it's a big rotation, plus bringing the legs in and stacking. So if it's not working, don't panic. A lot of boxes have to be ticked before this one reveals itself. Take your left hand out to the left. So regardless of leg position, still working into the side bend. Inhale, bring the right arm up, palm faces forwards. Exhale, wrap the right shoulder blade via the underarm. So you're thinking elbow, instead of pointing to the side, is spinning to face forwards. Flatten your left palm and lean to the left. Inhale, lift the entire rib cage up away from the ground. Exhale, glide your left shoulder blade down and relax left ear towards the left shoulder. Do your breathing in a way that gets the right side ribs, right side of abdomen moving. So we spoke at the start that your posture ideally is supporting you in a way that facilitates a deep breath. Can you do an easy and full breath here? So that full yogic breath that gets into the abdomen. If not, what can happen? What needs to happen? Maybe lifting the chest, maybe leaning the head back. If you're looking up at your hand, that has enough tension in the neck to restrict your ability to breathe. Instead, lengthen both sides of your neck. Second stage, exhale, reach the right arm to the right and down so the hand is lower than the shoulder. Reach actively with that right arm and soften left ear to left shoulder. There is a particular part I would like you to go for here. Lean your head back and tilt your chin up towards the ceiling until you feel a tugging to the side of your throat. Spin the right palm forwards and reach with that arm. So here you're stretching some of the muscles that are coming down underneath your collarbone. Your deep breathing is probably gone. So bring it back, notice it disappeared and go, oh, okay, bring it back. These muscles are responsible in part for the head sitting forwards of the shoulders. I find them very useful to get into, especially if you know that that forward carriage of the head is a posture that is becoming more evident, especially the longer that we're in lockdown. Working with your neck relaxed, inhale to reach with that right arm, use the left hand on the side of your head, and then lift your head up. Change the cross in your leg, so that may or may not be knee pile on this side. Be willing to work potentially a different pose from one side to the other. Take the right hand out to the right, about 1.5 feet. Inhale, bring the left arm up, palm faces forwards. Exhale, wrap left shoulder blade towards the underarm, thinking about the tracking of the elbow being one of those useful parts. So think what we did in archer prep. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, lift left side ribs. Exhale, re-wrap that left shoulder. Sometimes it can be useful to almost come fully out, re-engage into those muscles, and come back into the side bend. I think this pose is deceptive. Even if you're quite accomplished or have a steady practice, I find when I come into these poses, they are fatiguing. I'm not trying to make them soft and limp. I'm actually trying to feel more and create a little bit more lift every time. So the muscles are more aware and I'm tracking their ability to do more rather than less. So if you're intermediate and you're frustrated that it still feels tiring, see that as a benefit. You are more aware and in more control of these things than you have ever been. Second stage. Exhale, reach the left hand to the left and down so the hand is lower than the shoulder. Glide your shoulder blades down. Lean the head back and begin to angle the chin upwards. Getting into the side of the throat. Spin the left palm forwards and reach with that arm. Now the amount of reach that there is with that arm has a little bit of like a volume control. You can do less reach for less sensation or more reach for more sensation. Track your tolerance for what you are working with by how deeply you can recruit your breathing. Working with your neck relaxed, inhale to reach with that left arm. Use the right hand on the side of your head and then lift your head back up. Grab your block or your roll or whatever it is that you happen to be using for this class. It is going to be going between your hands enough that the pinky edges of the hands can be down onto the ground. Come down onto your elbows. Line up the elbows with your wrists. The block is giving you a set distance apart to work with. Shoulders above wrist. Do a couple of rounds of retractions and protractions, so that's squeeze back and then lift in the shoulders, just so you're getting familiar with the sensation. Inhale, lift up between your shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze in with your hands on the block, but also squeeze the elbows in. Tuck your toes, lift knees up. Inhale, lift the rib cage towards the back of the mat. Exhale, feel free to bend the knees. If your shoulders are feeling really fatigued, do this with the knees down, focusing a lot on that lift between shoulders and the squeezing in of the elbows. There's like a young dolphin. Called a calf? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I think I'm making stuff up now. Inhale, set your knees down. Bring yourself up from there. Swing the legs back around. So we're kind of alternating like a dolphin and then down for core work. You're coming down for abdominals with the roll. This time there isn't a twisting action. There isn't that left and right. There is a straight up action. When you get that exhale, curl head and shoulders up, see if there's a little extra spread into the upper back. Just see if that will help change the arc in the upper back. During abdominal and core work, this space between your chin and your chest ideally is preserved. So when you're doing this, it is not more effective to slam your chin to your chest. All you're doing is creating that sort of cervical movement, but it isn't getting more abdominal work. If anything, the head is really leaned back so that when you lift, the neck muscles to the side of the throat and the neck muscles are engaging somewhat. Okay, come down onto your back, put the roll or the block to your inner thighs. If your hips and your lower back were appreciating the feet down version from elbow to knee, you're welcome to do that, making sure that your feet are not generating the tilt or any of the other actions. Stronger day, you can work with the knees above the hips or with the legs straight. Head down, clasp your hands behind your head and bring the elbows in close to the sides of your head. Reach your upper arms towards the ceiling, getting that spread into the upper back. Lean your head back a little so you're doing less chin tuck. Deep breath in. Hold your breath. Curl your tailbone up. Squeeze the block or the roll. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up. Reach the underarms towards the ceiling. Head is leaning back. Pull belly down. Inhale, lay head down. Hold your breath. Pardon my creaky floor. Curl tailbone up. Squeeze roll or block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up. Underarms reach towards the ceiling, belly down. Inhale, lay head down. Hold your breath in. Curl, tailbone up, squeeze that roll. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up. Underarms lift towards the ceiling, pull belly down. Inhale, lay head down. Hold your breath. Curl, tailbone up, squeeze roll or block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up. Underarms lift up towards the ceiling, pull belly down. Inhale, lay the head down. Last one, hold your breath. Curl, tailbone up, squeeze roll or block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up. Now pause. Unlock the shoulders by reaching the elbows towards the ceiling. Curl your tailbone a second time, squeeze the roll a second time, pull belly down. Inhale, head down, feet down. Remove the roll or the block, set it to the left. Take yourself and roll to the right, so we've got some variety. And then use your arms to bring yourself up from the ground. Just so you can see the next couple of poses. You're coming down onto your back for a laying down spinal twist and bridge. I just want to show you one of the options in laying down spinal twist so that you don't then lie down and then try and look at the screen and like crank on your neck. In laying down spinal twist, starting with the arms out and taking the knees over, this is going to get you feeling a twist from low to mid back. To get into the shoulder blade region that we've been working with, so long as you don't have dislocating shoulders, You can reach an arm up and begin to reach the arms over to the side and even start to draw on the arm. Notice I'm not pulling the arm down, I'm more reaching the arm out at the angle to feel my shoulder blade spreading a little bit more on the back. Following that, working into bridge, heels under the knees, arms down, and lifting the hips up. I know this pose is frequently taught with the palms down. I don't like what that does to folks' shoulders. I prefer palms up or arms overhead, which can allow the shoulder blades to relate to the ground differently enough that you can create an exceptional lift into the chest and upper back. So if you know that this portion of your back is quite stiff, or you feel you can't quite get your breath into that area in poses, explore bridge with the arms overhead. Okay, come on down. Have your roll or your block handy. Starting with laying down spinal twist. Bring the knees in towards your chest. Take the arms out to the side. You're welcome to do arms bent if space is an issue. Deep breath in. Exhale, send both knees over to the left. Knees are up close to the underarm. Any pinching in the hips or the lower back, go ahead and put the block or the roll between your calf muscles, not your thighs. Inhale, roll your right ribs to the right. Not necessarily pushing your shoulder blade down, but feeling the rib cage rolling in that direction. If you want a wee bit extra, left arm reaches up and then over towards the right side of the space. Perhaps right hand holds left ribs, getting a little extra draw on that arm. Breathe in a way that speaks into the spaces between your shoulder blades. If you provide a little bit of restriction in your abdomen, like the exhale, pull belly in part and keep that, do the inhale to almost exclusively move the breath up into the chest and the upper back. Inhale, bring the arms back through center. Bring your knees back in through center, one at a time. Exhale, send both knees over to the right. Inhale, roll the left ribs to the left. Perhaps the right arm is coming up and reaching through that arm to get into the shoulder blades a little extra. Even gently drawing on that right arm with the left. Using that to help create that sense of space around the right shoulder blade. Very familiar sensation from like thread the needle and eagle arms. If it's interesting for you, do a bit of a restriction on the abdomen to pursue thoracic breathing, moving the breath into the chest cavity almost exclusively. My low back tweaky people, you might find keeping the abdomen moving whilst you're breathing will feel really good as well. Inhale, bring your arms back through center, bring the left leg back and then the right, and set the feet down. Take the roll or the block to your inner thighs for bridge. Get the feet so the feet are close enough that you can touch the heels with your hands, arms down by your sides. Rock the weight a little bit to the left, slide your right shoulder blade down, rock the weight a little bit to the right, draw your left shoulder blade down. Chin is tucking to help lengthen through the back of the neck. If you've got long hair, you can sweep that out from behind your head and also pull on your neck a little bit to help set the skull a wee bit further away from your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press into active feet, curl tailbone up, squeeze the roll or the block and lift pelvis. See if taking arms overhead gives you a different rest position for your shoulders, elbows wider than shoulders. I find when I do this that I can get a wee bit more articulation between the shoulder blades, lifting towards the chin and more firmly recruit the strength of the legs to create a bit of height. Breathe in an expansive way. Notice how with all the work that we've been doing to open up the various breath passageways of the body, notice if your breathing is coming in a little bit deeper. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, lower through your shoulders, mid-back, low back, and then set pelvis down. Remove the roll or the block. Take yourself, roll to your left, and then use your arms to come up from the ground. We're not quite coming fully upright for this next part. So I call this position back brace just because it can support the lower back. Take the feet so they are mat distance apart. Check the angle of the leg, so from lower leg to thigh it should be about a 90-degree angle. Ideally, when you move in and out of this, it will be somewhat the same angles. Exhale, send both knees over to the left, polish up the angles, and then walk the hands around to the left, endeavoring to get your chest facing the back of your mat. Low back sensitive, we're going to be changing the angles. Take the left hand closer to the back of the mat. Right arm is threading underneath the left, either till the elbow comes down, more flexible day, perhaps starting to get the shoulder coming down towards the ground. Any pinching in the left side low back, get the greater trochanter moving closer to the front of your mat as you take your torso towards the back of your mat. This is a very similar twist to what you were doing in the back if you did the arm position, but this is now allowing you a slightly different way of working with the weight. Breathe in an expansive way to feel the space between your shoulder blades responding. Inhale. Use your arms and start to bring yourself back out of there. Coming back through center into that back brace position. Exhale, send the knees over to the right. Polish up the angles so they're about 90 degrees. This just stops your pelvis from turning around too much. You may need to sidle that right hip down a wee bit. Take the hands around towards the back of your mat. Right hand goes further back. Exhale, thread the left arm underneath the right, coming down onto the elbow, perhaps starting to navigate towards the shoulder. That takes time. If you're in a place where you feel a little bit stuck, lengthen your skull to the back of the mat, do deep breathing. This really notoriously tight area does free up pretty quickly, and I don't mean in a few minutes, but over time, like you might find if you do this pose every day for the next month, perhaps those shoulder blades will start to move. Perhaps this stiff part of the back will start to free up a little bit. And certainly in this last year, I've been pursuing, especially my twists, getting this section of my back moving more than my lower back, which moves a little too much. Inhale. Bring yourself up and around from there, swinging yourself back around. This time you're coming down onto your abdomen. Arm position wise, there are so many different things that can be going on in somebody's shoulder. Sometimes it's coming from the shoulder blade, sometimes trapezius, sometimes the shoulder itself, sometimes the shoulder joint. So in this next pose, you have the option of having the arm out to the side, palm down on the floor. Some of you will have the arm out, but the back of the hand out. So just changing how the shoulder is speaking to the ground. If you have learned this in a way that is very passive, where you're just kind of like rolling and keeping on going until your chest is stretching, I want you to do this very actively so that when you're face down and you press, you feel your chest muscles are engaging, and then with that engagement, you are turning the chest. You're not trying to relax it to try and go further, all right? So it's an active release. Come down onto your abdomen. From the abdomen, left arm is coming out to the left, elbow in line with shoulder. Look away from it, so your head is going to the right. Right hand is getting underneath the elbow so it can do the pushing part. If it's more comfortable to do left arm out straight, go for palm facing up. Roll your left shoulder head into the mat, head down. Exhale, press either into the back of your hand or down into your palm. Inhale, start to roll onto the left hip. So pelvis is facing the side of the room, chest is facing the side of the room. Right arm maintains a strong press. Perhaps, especially if you feel like your chin is tucking, pick the head up, lean it back a wee bit. Aim to have the left side of your chest and shoulder down on the ground. Be honest if the press down you're doing with your hand is less because you're trying to go further. Get interested in what the active range feels like rather than the passive range. Inhale, roll back through center. Take the right arm out to the side this time. This shoulder may require something different from you. So perhaps you're doing arm bent and then getting that shoulder head coming down. Maybe you're doing arm out to the side, palm facing up. That's much easier to get that shoulder head down. Look to the left, left hand alongside the shoulder, and then transfer the weight onto that right side. Be very active with the press down on that right arm. I quite like alternating between the two states. So maybe you do a few breaths with the arm bent, a few breaths with the arm straight to feel the different sensations. Certainly arm bent, you get those chest muscles firing up. Inhale, roll back through center, bring yourself up. Come into a seated position, so that might be kneeling and maybe something other than kneeling. So long as you are not thinking about what your sitting position is, then we'll take it. Bring your hands onto your low ribs. Flare your ribcage forwards and then pull in through there. Maintain this little bit of awareness in the low ribs and very slightly stick your butt out. Lift the skull and very slightly tuck the chins. You should feel very proper as you're sitting, just how we should sit. In the next part, your aim is to explore what your range is. Inhale, take your left arm up, palm is facing, your right arm up rather. Right arm up, palm is facing to the left. There we go, I worked it out. Inhale, bring your shoulder blade up towards your right ear. Exhale, draw the arm back. Now, did your ribs flare? Go ahead and pull your ribs back in. Inhale, open that right arm out to the right, palm faces forwards, but squeeze your shoulder blade back. Exhale, rotate the arm, reach it down as if we were doing archer prep, but bend the arm towards your lower back, maybe even towards your left shoulder blade. Inhale, reach the arm back out to the side, rotate back around through center until the arm is up. Exhale, relax the arm down. This is the easy bit for now. Inhale, bring the left arm up. Lift the shoulder blade up towards your ear. Exhale, draw the arm back. Take a deep breath in. Open the left arm out to the left, squeezing the arm back. Exhale, rotate that arm and start to bring it down towards your lower back. Bend the elbow and start to move it towards your shoulder blade. Don't worry if it hasn't gone very far. Can you reach back through the entire arm, head lifted? Inhale, open the arm back out to the side. Arm is coming up, shoulder blade is coming up. Exhale, relax the arm down. Like some of the other poses we've done, we're now going to interface with gravity in a different way. You're going to be doing this on a tabletop. Coming into tabletop. During the tabletop, remain vigilant about whether your ribcage is doing the work or if your head is collapsing as a result of what we're doing. Press into the ground. Inhale, reach your left arm forwards and look towards your hand. Exhale, turn your left palm to face up, lift the arm. Deep breath in. Exhale, open the left arm out to the left, aiming to get the arm as high as you can and rotating, and bend the arm pointing towards your right shoulder blade. Inhale, bring the arm up and around, back to the start position. Exhale, bring that arm down. Inhale, reach the right arm forwards. Turn the palm to face up, lift the arm. Deep breath in. Exhale, rotate the arm out to the side, lifting as high as possible, but without twisting the ribs, and bring the arm around, almost to touch your left shoulder blade. Head up. Inhale, lift that entire arm, sweeping it back around through center. Exhale, bring the arm down. Way harder than it looks, way harder than it looks. If you're thinking, that was great, I felt wonderful, and you want to stick with that, do it. If you want to add a little extra challenge, send the right leg back as a stability challenge. Inhale, reach the left arm forwards, palm up. Exhale, rotate the left arm out to the left, bring the arm around towards your low to mid back. Inhale, lift that arm up, rotate the arm all the way back around through center. Exhale, bring that down. Oh my goodness, that's tough. Left leg is going back, toes point down. Inhale, reach the right arm forwards. Exhale, turn the palm to face up, lift chest, deep breath in. Exhale, open the arm out to the side. See if you can get that height as you bring the arm around. Feel for the elbow lifting up as you take the arm towards the back. Inhale, bring the arm around, rotating back through to center. Exhale, bring that arm down. Okay, that's a toughie. Staying within all fours position, I'm going to take my knees back just so I don't run out of space. Take the knees, mat distance apart. If you're sensitive in your knees, I'm already on 2 layers of thick yoga mat. Feel free to fold a layer of mat back. Come down onto your elbows. Pelvis is staying above the knees here. Bring the palms together without interlacing. Now, the without interlacing thing, when you interlace, usually there's like a furious death grip going on in the hands. And that makes a lot of tension in the arms. It's very difficult to get into the shoulders and the chest here. Palms together, you're able to work in a much gentler way. Walk the elbows forwards about 4 inches. So now the elbows are in front of the line of the shoulders, pelvis is above the knees. Exhale, focus on your chest and your underarms coming down towards the floor. Put your forehead down and then bend the elbows. Thumbs are moving towards the nape of the neck, underarms are reaching downwards. Switch deep breathing on. Use deep breathing to get into your shoulders and your chest. If this is pinching in your shoulders, you can work with the forearms and hands back down on the yoga mat. If it is shoulder, kind of in the shoulder joint, explore taking the arms about shoulder distance or wider apart and see if that makes a difference. Inhale, release the forearms down, bring yourself up from there in a seated position. Just give your arms a little bit of movement, so it's a lot of chest opener in that position. There are a couple of ways to use your props in this next one. So depending on whether you have a block or a roll or whatever it is that you're using, block people, I am a fan of getting the elbows hooking onto that. It's in the same pose essentially. So it does require some calculation. So that is setting the elbows onto the block, he says, grunting, and getting the chest to come down. Now my face doesn't fit through my arms, say what you like about that. So it doesn't quite fit, but I'm getting a very different release into trapezius. That's a little bit precarious. If you've got a roll instead of a block, what I would like to see you doing is actually hands on there as wide as you can get them. I've got my pinky edges wrapping around to the side. Getting the shoulder blades coming up, so the upper arms are lifting up towards the ceiling as the chest comes down. So very similar thing, very similar chest opener. Of course, you can do that second one with the block as well, so you can still work with the height there. So come on in, decide whether you're working with your hands or whether you're working with your elbows. So I'm going to do the second one with the block instead. If you're doing the second version, think about shoulder blades coming up towards your ears, arms squeeze towards the ceiling, and the chest comes down. If you're doing the one with the elbows, you can choose whatever height of block works for you. Setting the elbows onto the block, palms are together, and then seeing if you can get your head through. Oh, there we go. I just needed a wider block. So similar pose, slightly different function, and bringing the chest down towards the mat. From where you are, bring yourself up. You are coming back into chest opener. During chest opener, you're going to be doing a specific shoulder range. So take your arms out to the side, so as if you're really surprised. Squeeze your shoulder blades back, maintain that. Inhale, reach the arms up, but keep your shoulder blades squeezing back. Exhale, bring the arms down, squeezing your shoulder blades back. If you don't have a roll or a block, you're not doing chest opener, a really great thing that you can do is to take your own yoga mat and roll it up. Here's one I made earlier. And have that between your shoulder blades and your head so that you can feel that squeeze as you move the arms. Who rolled this one up? My gosh, I know I said I made it earlier. I wouldn't have rolled it up so loosely. Scandal. Okay. If you are not doing that, or you don't have that, or you don't want to do that, then you can use the roll or the block. I really want you to get that roll so it's between your shoulder blades and not too low in your back. If you feel it under your low ribs, it's frankly too low. So come on down, shoulder blades, when you squeeze them back, should feel like they're on something, and then head down. If you're doing it flat on your yoga mat, get something, get a pillow, like whatever. Take the arms out to the sides, you're in that double chest opener. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. You might feel things clunking a wee bit. Tuck your chin to lengthen the back of the neck. Maintain the squeeze. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, elbows wide. Exhale, squeeze your elbows down towards your waist. Shoulder blades are still squeezing back. Inhale, reach the arms towards the back of the mat. Exhale, drag the arms down. Do 3 more like that, really feeling for activation rather than loose arms sliding around on the mat. Active hands, fingers spreading, active through the shoulder blades. When you're done with your 3, relax the arms down for Shavasana in chest opener, final relaxation pose. If chest opener isn't working, or maybe you're thinking, I have done 55 minutes of chest opening, I don't need more chest opener, then feel free to take any other resting position. I am a fan of finishing the class where we started. It has a nice symmetry to it, but also allows you to navigate any of the changes that may have occurred in a relatively short amount of time. So choose something comfortable, allow that deliberate and deep breath to fall away, and let it be more your resting breath quality. Begin to deepen your breath. Allow your deep breathing to return gradually, focusing on how your breath can expand a little bit more three-dimensionally through the chest and the abdomen. Sometimes when I start taking that breath after doing a yoga practice, I notice how much I needed to breathe like that. Breathe in a way that feels good. Start to move your fingers and your toes. If you're on your back, set your feet to the floor, roll to your left, and bring yourself to seated. When seated, decide whether you need to sit elevated to better support your posture, but really think about a lifting through the chest, a lifting through the skull, and slide the upper arms down. Don't do a bowed, humble head here. Have your head up atop your shoulders. Be posturally aware. Bring your hands together at chest. Take a very deep breath in. Exhale, bow forwards. Namaste.